Hi, welcome to How to D&D. My name's Frederick Weller and I want to talk to you about all of the big things that have been happening. I have been very busy this weekend, which is why my video is up late, but I have a lot of news on Dungeons and Dragons. There's been a lot of different releases, a lot of information, and it's unprecedented, I would have to say. June has been a glorious bounty. So the first thing, there's a whole lot of new releases. We have the new Storm King's Thunder storyline has been announced. We have new miniatures that have been announced. There is a new monster manual coming. We have a whole bunch of added D&D content for people who like playing video games. So if you were playing Neverwinter, the massive online multiplayer game, it is being added to. It will include the Storm King's Thunder storyline as well, and it's also, Neverwinter's going from the computer and the Xbox One, it's going to PlayStation 4. So in a few more months you will actually be able to play that game for free online with lots of people on the PlayStation 4, which is great news. Now, I don't know an awful lot about video games, but hopefully I will find somebody that I know who can give you a bit more information on that particular topic. On top of that, if you really enjoy watching a lot of the online YouTube videos where people play Dungeons and Dragons, things like Critical Role, if you've been watching that, or Dice Camera Actions with Dungeons and Dragons, this is where Chris Perkins goes through the Curse of Strahd storyline. If you're enjoying that sort of thing, we have 2 new weekly sessions of Dungeons and Dragons that you can watch, and they just happen to be with those particular dungeon masters. So the first one is Giant Hunters. Matthew Mercer will be running this. It's sort of like a lead up to the storyline for Storm King's Thunder. It's dealing with a whole bunch of covert operatives. It seems to be made up of players that are mostly comedians, and I think there's like one Dungeons and Dragons player in there who's been playing for a while, and Ashley Johnson will be playing. It won't be the full cast of Critical Role if that's what you were expecting. It looks like quite a motley crew, so it could be quite interesting. And yeah, you can check that out by having a look at the Dungeons and Dragons YouTube channel. It'll be on there. The next one is Acquisitions Incorporated, the series. Chris Perkins will be dungeon mastering this. It will be the usual cast for Acquisitions Incorporated, so you need to keep an eye on that. You can find that particular series on Penny Arcade TV on YouTube. Look for that channel. On top of that, I have just finished being involved in the Dungeons and Dragons Adventure League Epic this weekend. We finished yesterday, packed everything up. I have a lot of footage to edit together, and I hope to have that together and sort of completed so you can watch it next weekend. I'm not going to promise anything because there's a lot of content. Also too, I had hoped to be able to get you content with a lot of actual play, but as I was suddenly called upon to actually Dungeon Master, I didn't have the opportunity to sort of walk around with the camera like I was hoping. So that's all the big news. So let's get down to the things we haven't really discussed in any kind of length, and that is the new storyline, the new miniatures that are being released, and the new monster manual. So first of all, we have the miniatures. That's the Icons of the Realm. It's going to be called the Storm King's Thunder miniature series, and it's coming out. It looks like it's going to cost roughly about $16 for each blind box. WizKids hasn't really told us much about the content. They haven't said anything really. I would just expect there to be giants in it, really, because that's what the storyline, the new storyline is going to be about. It's going to be about giants. 1st of September this year. So that's the time to be looking out for that particular release. 25 collectible miniatures. I imagine there'll be a premiere miniature as well, something particularly large. I'd imagine that would probably be a giant, but we'll find out. Volo's Guide to Monsters. So Volo's Guide to Monsters is the second monster manual to be released. This doesn't look like it's like a, I wouldn't even think of this as like a monster manual 2, because it's been formatted and laid out and sort of put together in a slightly different manner. They've told us that it's an experiment, so I think this is probably an attempt by them to try to get dungeon masters and players purchasing this particular book. So it will have 100 plus new monsters in it, and you will be able to also find content in there on all of the classic monsters that you already have in your Dungeon Master's Guide. It's fluff, basically. Would not be my first choice to put fluff into a new Dungeons and Dragons monster manual, but they have. Should be stuff on mind flayers, culture, and a variety of other classic monsters. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. That is coming out, I believe, the 15th of November this year. So that's a long wait, but it's coming. I imagine it'll be well play tested. On top of its rather exorbitant price, it's listed at $50, which I suppose is pretty much what everything else has been listed at, including the adventure box. It is 224 pages, so it's a reasonable size. I don't know what else to say other than you will be able to find new playable monster races in there. That means you can play in a goblin or an orc or a furbolg. I think that's what you call it. Have I pronounced it right? I'm not too sure. Tritons. Now I believe Chris mentioned Tritons, but that was in the video and I haven't seen anything in writing on that. Alright, so let's get on to the nuts and bolts. I know you're waiting for it. The new storyline, Storm King's Thunder. What's the deal? Well, this is... Actually, I'm not surprised with this storyline. It really sort of follows on, as far as I can tell, from the Tyranny of Dragons storyline. Now, the giants weren't particularly heavily involved in that particular battle, and apparently this is what the idea behind that is. It's 256 pages long. It will get you from levels 1 to 11 plus. Now, I know a lot of people saying, oh no, it's only to 11th level. It does say 11th level plus. So from what I've heard from some of the, one play tester, alpha play tester, and they can't say very much, and probably not a good idea if I'm running a YouTube channel anyway, I would imagine it will probably go a little bit higher than 11th level. So I'd expect a bit more play out of it than just 11, okay? September the 6th, 2016, that's when we can expect the adventure book out. So the giants are threatened, the Forgotten Realms. Yes, we're in the Faerun Forgotten Realms again. It's not somewhere else. So after the Sword Coasters fought off the dragons, the giants have taken advantage of this opportunity and the sheer destruction to try and lay claim to the land. And given that the ordaining has been broken, that's going to be a lot easier. You know, it's funny that this particular storyline comes along, because that's exactly where I was thinking to take my own games after I'd finished Rise of Tiamat. And what do you know? They have that particular storyline ready to go very shortly. Funny how that happens. So it's priced at $50 and pre-orders are available. If you found this video helpful or informative, please share, like and subscribe. Make a comment below and tell me what you really like about the new releases that are announced and what you hope to actually see in these books. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.